These were the gods of my ancestors, the first Hawaiians. I like to think of three of the ancient gods as a symbol of the destiny of our islands and our people.
Goddess of the volcano, capricious, awesome, unpredictable. Pele. God of rain and of growing things, patron of the harvest. Lono. God of sunlight and fresh water, a deity of creation. Kane.
When the first people came to Hawaii, they brought with them a curious kind of giant tropical grass, a plant that stored within its stalks energy from the sun. This is the story of these people, that plant, these islands.
For millions of years, there was no land here, only the sea. But below the waves, 17,000 feet down, the earth was erupting.
Mountains were being built on the ocean floor. It was millions of years more before the volcanoes broke above the surface of the sea. This was the realm of Pele, the volcano goddess. For uncounted centuries, the islands were barren rocks in the sea. Nothing moved but molten lava and the earthquake-shaken ground. Wind, rain, waves. Slowly, they ground the lava into sand and into soil. Lichens, moss, and ferns appeared. Seeds were deposited on the islands, seeds carried in the digestive tracts of birds, or embedded in their feathers, or the mud on their feet. Other seeds were carried by floating logs and by the wind. They sprouted, and through the centuries they grew. Now was the time of Kane, creator of living things. Yet for all its beauty, there was little to sustain human life. If man was to live here, he would have to bring food, animals, crops. No one knows when these people first arrived in Hawaii. Perhaps it was 1,000 years ago. Some say they came much earlier. This much is known. In a time when Europeans believed the earth was flat and were afraid to sail out of sight of land, these people were ranging out from Southeast Asia, voyaging thousands of miles on the world's largest ocean. They had only the sun and the stars to navigate by, only their knowledge of the winds, the ocean currents, and the flights of migratory birds to guide them from one island chain to the next. Many islands is the meaning of the word they are known by. The Europeans called them Polynesian, a word that means many islands. Exactly how they came to these islands of Hawaii and why, no one really knows. They brought with them the things they would need for survival in the new land. A few animals, some seeds, roots, and cuttings. One plant sustained these seagoing people, especially on their long voyages, sugarcane. The nutritious juice stored in the stalks gave them energy, and it was used too in their native medicines. Each short section of cane had a bud from which a new sprout grew when it was planted. The ancient Hawaiians had names for at least 40 varieties of sugarcane. Traditional chants celebrated the qualities of this remarkable plant. For centuries, the Hawaiians lived apart from all the rest of humanity, developing their own way of life, with only legends to tell them of the world beyond the sea. On a January day in the year 1778, two strange ships anchored off the leeward coast of one of the islands. The flag was English. The man in command was Captain James Cook. Soon maps and charts would show this part of the Pacific as we know it today. Beginning 2,000 miles off the west coast of North America, some 130 reefs, shoals, and atolls, and 7 islands that nourish human life. Hawaii, Maui, Lanai, Molokai, Oahu, Kauai, Niihau. Captain Cook made special note in his log of the cane fields, but the process of turning the sweet cane juice into the crystals we call sugar was unknown to the people of Hawaii. In 1835, the first permanent plantation was established on the island of Kauai. Within 3 years, there were 20 sugar mills. From these modest beginnings, a great industry was to grow. Most of the pioneer planters came to our islands for other reasons. They were sailors, traders, and missionaries. They were not farmers, but they learned to farm, to bring from the land a crop Hawaii could use to trade for all the things the islands needed from the outside world. As fields of cane spread across the islands of Kauai, Oahu, Maui, and the Big Island of Hawaii, the land that was watered by nature was soon fully developed. And sugarcane needs water. It's a thirsty crop. Some of the wettest spots on earth are here in Hawaii. But the trade winds blow against our highest mountains, and the clouds are trapped there on the windward side. So within sight of peaks where 400 inches of rain may fall each year, there is land as parched and dry as a desert, land which needed water in order to grow sugarcane. The planter's solution? Burrow tunnels through the mountains, build siphons, raise flumes, and dig ditches, miles of them. Drill wells deep into the porous volcanic heart of the land. Miles of unproductive wasteland became fields of cane, until over half of all Hawaiian sugarcane grows in irrigated fields. This crop, sugarcane, has become the most important single product of Hawaii, the base from which today's Hawaii grew. In the early years, there were not enough people in Hawaii to plant and harvest the fields and to run the mills. So thousands of others came, Chinese, Portuguese, Japanese, Filipinos, people of many cultures, races, traditions, drawn here by higher wages, by better living standards, and sometimes by a freedom they could not find in their homeland. Each group made its unique contribution. Often they intermarried with one another and with native Hawaiians.
Sometimes they are Japanese, Hawaiian. Some of the boys are Filipinos, Portuguese, all kind of mix you meet here. They're all good people.
My dad originally from Pacific Hill. In fact, from the islands, both of them.
My dad is Chinese, my mom is Hawaiian.
They were born in Portugal.
He's from the Philippines, from the town called Cebu.
My mom is Portuguese and my father is a Filipino.
I was born in Waikapu, Maui.
I have a little Chinese somewhere or other.
He came from Japan.
On my mother's side, Indian and Puerto Rican and Portuguese.
We all get together, so I guess we all get along fine.
We all work together in Hawaii.
Nowhere else do so many races and cultures live, work and prosper together in harmony.
Yeah, compared to the workers on the mainland, it's because we way ahead.
We are more steady, I would say.
Well, sugar job is an all-year-round job.
Human skills and science. The unique combination that has made all this possible. The least number of man-hours to produce the highest yield per acre of any place on Earth. Part of the reason is the experiment station of the Hawaiian Sugar Planters Association, the world's most complete private agricultural research center.
Our scientists are constantly at work on the development of new sugarcane varieties, developing new methods for increased yields, protecting the crop from pests and disease. We've always been concerned about the environment, for after all, farming is the providing of good conditions for the proper growth of plants and animals. We were among the first people in agriculture to use natural enemies to control pests that otherwise might destroy the sugarcane crop. For example, the sugarcane borer that feeds on the juicy stalks are kept under control by natural insect predators and parasites. Work like this has been going on here since 1895, when the association was formed by farmers joining together to improve their crops and conserve their land. The planters themselves still pay for all of this, over $2 million every year, to learn more about this incredible plant, sugarcane.
When the cane is ready for harvest, the sugar has already been manufactured right inside the plant during the growing process. Microscopic root hairs of the root system take up water from the soil. The water, a combination of hydrogen and oxygen, is pulled up to the leaves. Meanwhile, small openings in the leaves are filled with air containing carbon dioxide. Light from the sun is also being absorbed by chlorophyll in the leaves. The sunlight provides energy to combine the hydrogen and oxygen of the water with the carbon dioxide from the air through the natural process known as photosynthesis. The combination, hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon brought together by photosynthesis, forms sucrose, a technical word for sugar, sugar stored by nature in the stalks of sugarcane. Now it's a matter of taking that sugar out and putting it into a form we can use. 2 years after planting, the cane is ready for harvest. Flames quickly burn away the tangle of leaves and waste material, leaving sugar-filled stalks ready for cutting. Various types of harvesting equipment cut and rake the stalks. Within weeks, a new crop will sprout from the remaining stubble, and this old plant system will continue to produce new cane crops through several more seasons. The cut stalks are loaded into cane haulers for transporting to the mill for processing. The cane is unloaded and goes through several washings before entering the mill to begin processing.
Most of what goes on here happens inside machinery. But basically the process is this.
The cane juice is pressed out of the stalks, and the sucrose in the juice is turned into crystals of raw sugar. These crystals are about 98% pure. What's left behind is used too. The pressed out cane fibers are utilized as fuel to power the mill, and the molasses left after the sugar has been extracted is made into cattle feed. Now the natural sugar is in a form which can be easily transported to the mainland for refining.
The natural sugar is carried by huge transporters to the docks. There it is loaded into ships for the ocean trip to the refinery on the mainland. It is fortunate that the Hawaiian Islands are the most productive in the world for growing sugarcane, because Hawaii depends on trade with the outside world for much of its food and almost all of its materials and manufactured goods. By far the most valuable single product Hawaii can offer in that trade is sugar. Five days after leaving the islands, the cargo of raw sugar nears its destination. A few miles beyond the Golden Gate, where the Sacramento River flows into San Francisco Bay, is Crockett, California, location of the world's largest cane sugar refinery. It's owned cooperatively by Hawaii's sugarcane growers. During the next 8 hours, the raw sugar will become pure refined sugar.
Refining is a complex and highly technical job. It involves many steps. But to make it simple, we wash the raw sugar crystals to remove a film of molasses. Then the crystals are dissolved into a syrup. We filter that twice for purity. The syrup is then boiled to evaporate water and to form crystals again. They're spun and tumbled dry. The result? Refined sugar, the same natural product that began in a cane field in Hawaii.
Sugar, packaged in many forms for many different uses. Bulk sugar for commercial use, by the 100-pound or in liquid form. It moves out by highway and by rail to the western 2/3 of the United States. Enough sugar each year to supply about 25 cities the size of San Francisco. Sugar for the hundreds of manufacturers of the thousands of food products on your supermarket shelves, and for your sugar bowl at home. Each of us uses about 100 pounds a year and has for generations, not just as a sweetener, but as an essential ingredient in many wholesome foods. Pure, natural crystals of sugar, one of the carbohydrates which are an essential nutrient to a well-balanced diet. Each crystal carrying with it a bit of the sun, the water, the air of the islands from which it came. Today, the people who come to Hawaii come not as settlers, but as tourists. And tourism is Hawaii's other great industry. Through all the many changes the years have brought since the first plantation was established on the islands, it is sugar which has been the keystone of Hawaii's economy, growing from a land which to this day continues to change and be renewed.
Many people and events have shaped our islands, from the ancient rule of kings to the 50th state in the Union. We honor our past and those who have given us our heritage.
From the Hawaiian earth and the volcano, symbols of a modern land, the Sugar Islands, our home, Hawaii.